All right, Fernie, before we really dive into it, I got a question for you. And
Uh-huh.
I know we're not, I'm not basketball oriented. I don't think you really are
Oh,
either.
I would say you're not sports oriented.
I know a little more about football than I do basketball. Like, I think I feel a little more comfortable there, but like Cowboys related only. Um,
Uh I wouldn't say I'm that comparable to fucking basketball either. I know bits and pieces. I'm not great at it.
but okay, so with our limited knowledge, who would you say is the GOAT or why not?
Michael
Because
Jordan.
they really sucked his dick in this film when Matt Damon gave that speech. Why is Michael the best ever?
I mean, they really didn't.
What?
I'm sure that speech was made for the movie, but back then he wasn't really like they weren't really like betting it all on him. They just looked at him as another really good player.
So wait, so you think the film kind of like not memorialized, what's the phrase? They
Fudged history?
yes.
I think so, especially when it came to that speech.
I don't think he gave that speech, but like the fact that Matt Damon's character Sonny was like, dude, I see something in this kid I've seen nowhere
Oh,
else in
that
my
I
life.
believe. The way
Why?
that the way that players have talked about Sonny Vaccaro,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it sounds believable. He would make every player seem like that they're going to be the best thing ever to grace a basketball court.
Mhm. But so what to you then makes Michael Jordan the best ever? What makes him the GOAT? What makes him the Tom Brady of the NBA?
He's a winner. And I know like, well duh, he's a winner. But no, like he was the type of guy who was like I'm going to do everything in my power to win.
Have you heard the stories of Michael Jordan as at like
Also, I mean, one of the big things about winners is that they want the ball in the last minute. You find out real fucking quick who is scared and who is not. Like the guys who want the ball in the last minute are something else.
mhm. But okay, so as far as Michael Jordan's concerned, I'll give you that competitiveness. From what I understand it, one thing that people loved about Kobe was his competitiveness. Again,
Yeah.
I want to be very clear. I'm not the best basketball oriented person, but I've seen a few documentaries. And one of the things that people loved about Kobe was they said he would work out 3 times a day. He would get a workout in at 4:30 in the morning, shower, then go to the practice facility for 8 a.m. workout with the team, lunch, and then afternoon workout with the team. Like that's how insane Kobe Bryant was.
Yeah.
The competitiveness, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. Um, again, so do you think though Michael could compete with today's basketball players? Because
Yeah. If he had the facilities, like if he was born in today's generation and he had the facilities, like that's what people forget is that basketball players today are pampered as shit and they
Mhm.
bitch and moan more than anybody else. They complain, we have a long schedule. Oh. You also have the best rehab facilities ever. You can come back from an injury in almost no time whatsoever. Like, they bitch and moan for a lot.
But like, okay, so Michael Jordan, one of the things that they tout about him was the fact that he was a super athlete before they had super athletes. He was a genetic freak. What was the joke? He could fly, right? Like he was Superman. He
Not
could fly.
genetic freak, but he was definitely an unseen talent.
What do you mean?
Because back then, I mean, you have to think about it like this. Back then, basketball players had like athletes back then had jobs on the side, like in the 70s and even the early 80s. Like Michael Jordan was an athlete. Like he was one of the first generation of like I'm an athlete first.
Hmm. But like, do you think because players and it goes to reason. players growing up watched Jordan and were like, okay, I need to copy what this guy does. So they
Yeah.
started, learning how to do 3 pointers. They started learning how do you fly? How do you make those long jumps? How do you play as Jordan does? And not as aggressively, obviously, like maybe not as competitive, but how do you do the physicality of him? So, and it's the same argument, I guess, that like I would spout at Brady. Could Brady survive the 70s, but could players from the 70s survive today? Like there's a two different tandems there. One, you can argue they're more physical, but on the other side, they're slower versus speed. Would Michael have been such a standout today as he was back then, or would he have just been another super athlete?
I mean, it's really just tough to say. Taking 1990s Michael and throwing him today's game, I think he can easily average 40 points a game,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot.
Do
Most
you
games go into the 90s.
do you think he'd be more injury prone though, considering how much faster they are today than they were back then?
I don't know, dude. Today's game is really pussified. If you look at the games that Michael had to play, he literally had to make himself stronger because the Detroit Pistons were literally beating the fuck out of him on the court.
Mm-hmm. Remind me, what was that? The Pistons dominated, but then when Michael came up, he had to go through them to win the championship. Am I
They
right?
were the bad boy Pistons. They were the Oakland Raiders of basketball. They
But
would fuck you up.
but did they win any rings, or did
They
Jordan
won
prevent
two
them?
rings.
So they won 2 rings. Jordan
Yeah,
comes up,
they won two rings back to back. They won in 1989 and 1990. After that, Jordan won.
and then we had the three-peat.
Yeah. And then he retired and had another three-peat.
Do you think is there any truth to the rumor that it was a suspension, a secret suspension?
No, I think that's horseshit.
I agree. I don't believe that either. Um, but no, dude, I don't know. I wonder a lot if like if you take Prime Jordan and put him in today's game, I really do wonder if he would be like any other player. I mean,
No,
I'm sure he'd be a standout, but like,
it's
would
all
he,
about the mentality, man. Because there's guys on in the NBA that have all the talent in the world, but they're so fine with being mediocre.
hmm, what do you mean by that? Expand on that.
Like they're just fine with being on the team. They don't
Like,
want to be the best.
like for them, getting to the NBA was enough.
Yeah,
Have you heard of these like NBA the recent players? I know there was one with the Grizzlies, and there's a few other ones.
John Morant. Yeah, he's a fucking moron.
Is he the
Dude
one that
was
mouthed
putting the
off?
spoon up his ass.
Is
He
there the
was
one?
adopted. He was adopted by a white family. Didn't grow up anywhere near a fucking ghetto, and now he's fucking popping off and showing a gun on Instagram Live twice.
Was he the guy that got into it with Shannon Sharp?
No,
Oh, that different guy.
I
Okay.
don't think so. Maybe Shannon Sharp rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
What's it called? Yeah, I like to watch them with Skip Bayless. I think they're kind of fun to me.
Yep.
Skip, 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 skip.
Well, even then, like I give Shannon Sharp credit because he's a former athlete and not just any scrub athlete. Like he's definitely one of the top tight ends ever to play in the NFL.
But the Ravens, right?
The Broncos and then the Ravens.
Oh, that's right. He was with the Broncos during the Elway run, and then he was with the Ravens when they won with Ray Lewis and that. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Let's talk about sports for a second.
Okay.
In that documentary, they mentioned how they jumped quarterbacks from I can't remember what's his face to someone else. I can't remember the name.
Wait,
But
what?
do you remember?
In
Okay,
the Ravens?
the
Oh
same
yeah,
year.
they fucking put Trent Dilfer in. Trent Dilfer is a game manager.
But like they went from Trent Dilfer to a different quarterback, right? That same season.
I have no idea.
You know,
I really can't remember.
because I remember the documentary. They won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, but then the following season they swapped him out with a different quarterback. And everyone said if they had just kept Trent, they probably could have won another Super Bowl. Do you think that's
Probably.
accurate?
Probably. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a game manager in Trent Dilfer, a guy who knows your offense and is gonna get the ball to where it needs to be and not fuck it up. I'd
But
put
is
him
that
in the same
enough?
category as Brock Osweiler. Brock Osweiler, when he was with the Broncos, he was great. Like he was fucking slinging the ball, getting it everywhere it needed to be, and killing it. And then when they sent him to Houston, he sucked dick. He sucked herpes infested dick.
Oh God. Okay. Well, those are case studies, right? Just to show like the right staff around the right guy can do wonders, but more importantly, the wrong staff around the guy will destroy his career.
Well, it's all about finding the guy's strengths and weaknesses. Like Brady is a guy I would say that likes control, he likes precision, and he likes having a good chemistry with his players. Like he would have his wide receivers go with him to like California, to I think like anywhere secluded to work out during the off season.
Mhm.
And like he would work out with them. Like he's like, I need you to be precise. Like I can't just have you out there expecting to fucking to expect to get the ball. Like if you're not putting in the work, like don't fucking come over here.
Brady, do you think he regrets like that last season or not?
What last season? Oh, the Bucks?
Yeah, like no, I mean, like
Fuck no, dude.
essentially,
He's a gambler. He's always
he
gonna bet on himself.
sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, why would he regret it? I mean, he's gonna bet on himself. He's gonna hope for the best and just yeah, just bet on himself, see if he can win it.
All right, here's another one for you. What do you think? So I watched that 30 for 30 recommended me on Sunny. And it made a point that he was involved in the I think it was O'Brien or O'Brandon versus the NC
O'Bannon.
O'Bannon, thank you. The O'Bannon versus NCAA
Pretty
lawsuit.
much the case that killed the NCAA football game, the basketball game, and all that.
Yeah, no, he was involved in that case where pretty much saying that athletes can be paid by the colleges.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Also, I got something funny for you, but I'll tell you later.
I mean, it's true. Like, the NCAA is fucking corrupt. They pick and choose when they can make money. And meanwhile, like, I mean, there are stories. Like, I remember hearing Arian Foster's story about him going to Tennessee and he didn't have $20 in his name. And this was after uh, signing autographs.
Yeah.
And he didn't have fucking $20 to his name. And like, he told the coach, like, hey, like, either you help me out, like give me a little bit of money so I can get some food, or I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, I remember hearing stories about players. There was one, I can't remember who it was. I know it was a football player, though. I think it was in Miami.
No, and you think it's fair that the university makes tons of money off of NFL players? I mean, not NFL players, NCAA athletes.
Oh, me? Fuck no, dude. I was wanting them to pay the athletes for a while. I was
Like
on the side of the students.
people say, oh, they get an education. No, they don't. They get hardly an education.
They get to learn Swahili.
Like for
And
the
that,
most part, they're hardly in class.
yeah. Well, I remember. Well, from what I've heard, this might harm the NFL too, because apparently there's some quarterback I think who just uh designate himself as like a third year senior because he's getting paid more. He knows he'll get paid more by the college than he would if he went to the NFL. He's not good enough to be a standout in the NFL, but he's more than enough to be a standout in college. So he'll
I
take the
mean that
money and keep
says
going
it.
from there.
Like he's not good enough to be in the NFL, so let him get his money. There's plenty of guys who are considered good enough to be in the NFL and they fucking wash out.
I think. Remind me. An NFL contract for a rookie is like what? 3 mil a year?
I mean, it really depends on what round you get
Let's see.
drafted. I mean, I think most first round picks get like 20 mil,
One draft pick salary. Let me see.
and then like you take out
Shit.
taxes, you take out what?
41 mil.
How much?
41.
Oh,
God damn.
yeah,
Jesus.
but then you have to take out taxes. You have to take out what they pay their agent, what they pay in taxes, not only in the state that they play in, but the states that they play in elsewhere, like away games and shit.
Jesus
Like if you're
Christ.
not smart with your money, you get fucking broke real quick.
Wait, this makes sense. So it was 41 mil for the entire first round. Dallas Bryce is expected to make 5 million over the course of 3 years.
And that's worse in the NBA because in the NBA you also have to pay taxes in the cities that you play in.
Christ. Well, Chema, we've been talking a lot of sports ball. We might have a new show in our hands.
Ew.
Christ.
Sorry, I had to.
I'm sorry, I like to
Alright.
watch hot, sweaty men at the peak of their athleticism, Chema.
Sweetie meaty men. Actually, Chema likes the
Huh?
hot,
What did I
sweaty
do?
men.
Do I?
No, Chema actually watches
I
wrestling
wasn't aware of
sometimes.
this. Do I like them?
No, no, no.
Be like, wow,
shut the
really?
fuck- I listen-
Tell
I
me more.
listen-
Tell me more things I don't know about myself. I'm learning so much, man.
No, Chema actually watches
I'll-
wrestling.
I watch
sometimes.
wrestling every once in a while, but I'm not caught up on like storylines. Like the last time, oh God, what's the last storyline I watched?
Asuka, I remember you mentioned that, and I was proud of you.
I watched that. I watched when I like the man. The man is cool. I like her. I always forget her name, but I
Becky
know
Lynch.
she's a man. Yeah, I like her. I think she was cool. I thought it was really random. Ronda Rousey got into the WWE because I think she's a good fighter. I don't think she's a good show woman.
He was always a WWE fan growing up.
Yeah, but she
I
kind
think
of like
most
showed up
fighters
and just
start off
like
as WWE fans.
yeah, but I think she lacked like the spunk or the energy. Like she kind of showed up and just like pointed at shit. I don't know if she got better. Maybe I stopped watching.
She's not a ring general, but she's had some good matches, but she's not a ring general. She can't call the match.
Yeah.
Charlotte always carries her to a good match. But let's talk about another fake sport. Let's talk about the NBA.
Oh yeah, super fake sport.
Bernie, hit the intro.
Hey, everybody, this is Fernando from the Rollback Podcast. And today we are reviewing the Amazon Prime funded movie Air. I'm Fernando.
I'm Chema.
I'm Eddie. And Gemma, what's the synopsis, my good man?
Air, some icons are meant to fly. Discover the game-changing partnership between a then undiscovered Michael Jordan and Nike's fledgling basketball division, which revolutionized the world of sports and culture with the Air Jordan brand. So I'm gonna try to get through this review better than I try to get through that sentence. So yeah, so Air came out a few months ago, but I think it finally came out on streaming. It was originally supposed to come out directly to streaming, but they trusted in the movie and they ended up releasing it in theaters. I really like this movie. It's a new Ben Affleck directed movie, which I think all his directed movies have been good. I haven't seen one that I haven't liked. This is good. The whole cast is good. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Viola Davis, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker. Marlon Wayans is even in it. It's a good cast. It's a good story. It's like it's kind of like the Social Network of shoes, I think. And I watched this movie wearing my own pair of Jordans, so it only made sense to like bring them up while we're doing the review. So yeah, have them close. So I really like this movie, but I watched it in theaters when it came out. I think y'all barely watched it now that it came out on streaming. I think it's the dad movie of the year. I mean, if you can afford Amazon Prime, you can afford a theater. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is I think this is the dad movie of the year. Like I feel like the movie is kind of tailor made to be watched on a plane. Uh,
Oh,
or
it's a
like
great
watch.
fucking airplane movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even in the
It's like the
title.
perfect run time. Like it doesn't feel long, and it just keeps you engaged throughout the whole movie.
Definitely. What do y'all think of the movie?
Uh,
I liked it. I mean, it's definitely a fucking puff piece for Nike. Like, look how hard we had it. Look how hard we got lucky with Michael. Which in reality they did. They did get lucky with Michael because at the time Adidas and Converse were kicking the shit out of Nike when it came to basketball. But like, I mean, it's a puff piece for Nike.
well, because they specifically highlighted the basketball portion of it, where it's like, oh man, we only have 17% of market share compared to the other two big guys. I'm like, for basketball shoes, what was your market share total? Because I'm pretty fucking sure you're $1 billion company. You were taking it to Adidas and Converse. I'm just fucking throwing that out there.
At the time,
At the
Not
time,
at the time.
at the
no,
time they were a running shoe company.
no, but I'm saying like in total, like if you can, their market share not in basketball shoes, but overall shoes. I'm pretty sure they were more competitive.
I
They
don't
were the
think
number
so.
one running shoe. Come on,
I don't think they were, dude, because at the time it was all Adidas. It was all style.
Nike market share. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
The movie told us that, Eddie. Like,
In
I think it doesn't
basketball
lie.
shoes, in basketball shoes, like in the same way how it's like, oh, they're making them look like the underdogs. Is like if you squint really hard, maybe they're sort of the underdog, kind of, sort of, but not really. But
the
anyway,
movie just told us that, man. Like, they showed us the stats. They showed us they're like the real life scenes.
I'm agreeing
Like,
with Fernie. That's a puff piece. That's it.
it is a puff piece, but it's also like the story is
But
true,
it's a
man.
good puff piece.
Yeah,
Dude, they
It's not
were
like
worth.
the FIFA movie that they made where they were literally just sucking their own dick the entire
Oh,
time.
that movie sucked. United Passions fucking sucked ass.
They dragged poor Sam Neill into it.
And who was the main guy? Was it Tim Roth?
I think so, but that movie
Yeah.
they're just sucking their own dick the whole time.
Oh God, you just reminded me of something fucking hilarious. The part where Sonny's talking to the agent is like Adolf, right? That was his name, Adolf.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He goes by Addy. His name is literally Adolf. There's a fucking picture of him in a Nazi youth uniform.
I believe you, though. I believe you.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
wasn't
it's brought
Adidas
up.
like didn't they supply the Nazis?
Yes,
Not by choice, but
they were funded by Nazis also.
you gotta love how like Adidas is trying to scrub that from the culture.
like
like-
Yeah.
like the favorite soda, Fanta.
Fanta was also funded by Nazis?
Yeah.
They
Oh.
couldn't get Coke syrup out there, so they created a new flavor.
Mexican Fanta. Which is
Amazing.
funny because it's always associated with Mexicans, but it's a fucking German drink.
We can adopt it. It's like what's it called?
That fucking accordion. We adopted that too.
Yeah.
From the
That wasn't
Germans.
ours?
We made it
No,
popular. No,
Mexican music with the accordion is polka.
it's true.
I did not know
That's
that.
true. That is true, yeah. There's a lot of little moments in this movie that I feel like really bring up the 80s in a I think more than realistic way, because we've had a lot of like 80s inspired media like Stranger Things and a lot of movies that have taken up that mantle. They want to like keep it really 80s. Something about this movie feels like it was made almost in the 80s. The pacing, the dialogue, the way that they talk, the transitions. There's a scene where Matt Damon goes to a 7-Eleven and buys a Slurpee, and it's like the old, gushy, like super like I don't know, syrupy, like it was so gooey and so gross. But I remember when they used to be like that. Like I don't know if you all like got to see those, but Jesus, it looked like not. It doesn't look like that now. Now it looks like more ice than syrup. But that one looked gross. Exactly how I remember it looking.
Or just like when 7-Eleven was a decent place to get food.
Hey, the pizza slices are pretty okay.
They're
If you
bad.
like shit.
No, I'll admit it. There's a 7-Eleven like across the street from where I work, and also I'll go there every once in a while. And yeah, the pizza slices suck. Like I'll say that.
I said they're edible. I didn't say they were good.
It's hard to fuck up pizza.
It's really hard to fuck up pizza. You know that line that there's no bad sex or bad pizza. 7-Eleven pizza like gets pretty close. I will say that.
Oh man. So speaking of someone sucking someone's dick, did anyone else feel like they were really sucking off Michael during this movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, they were trying to buy him.
Yeah.
But like, God, that speech. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No. Let's talk about Let's talk about the speech. Fuck it. Like we might as well. People are gonna watch that and be like inspired and feel things. I was creeped the fuck. If I was 19 and I heard a grown man telling me that, I would be like, "Mom, let's get out of here."
Look, see, I was telling Eddie, there's a very high chance that speech is fake or puffed up.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. Like, you watch the 30 for 30 about Sonny Vaccaro, there is a good chance like he was like hyping Michael up like a lot. And he was very good friends with Michael Jordan, even when he got fired by Nike. But like this speech did not fucking happen the way it did.
I mean, I get it. It's cinematic, it's supposed to be like it works in the context of the movie.
Maybe your dad dies by some random gambling thing. What?
That's specifically, yeah.
That's specific, man.
It was like, yeah. And the intercuts to like the real life footage, like I was waiting for Matt Damon to be like maybe you retire, maybe you gain your confidence back by playing one more match with the Looney Tunes, maybe you play a match with the Looney Tunes and you realize that of your potential and you come back to playing. Like I swear he was gonna say some shit like that. Like it was so close. But like I get it, it's supposed to be like this big, wow, sweeping awards moment. It's kind of like the ending to the trial of the Chicago 7. Like obviously it didn't happen like that, but yeah, it works in the context of the movie, I guess. I'm still telling myself it's a dad movie, so like that's what watch that and be like, yeah, that's fucking good. Like that's me, good, man.
My favorite scene in the movie is his exchange with the agent.
Which one?
The one where like they're dropping all the fucking F-bombs in the world.
Yeah.
And that for me was my favorite scene.
When I take a while to log in and I come in to like see both of you talking, that's how I imagine the conversation is. Like that's what I picture is happening when I'm not here. Like
shit, who's Matt Damon and who's the agent?
It doesn't matter. Like it goes back and forth. Depending on the topic.
Like that was just such a good scene where like you could tell the agent was like, I'm gonna fucking kill you for making me look like an idiot.
Dude, y'all want to hear a not so fun fact?
Oh God.
It's not that bad. So you know how Sonny is able to get a hold of Michael through George Raveling, the guy that's played by Marlon Wayans? They had one scene together having dinner. Not so fun fact. Turns out they're no longer friends.
George Raveling is the one from the 30 for 30, right?
Yeah, same dude. Best man at the wedding. He actually was his best man. They leave out the part though where so Sonny, Fernie, I don't know, you remember 30 for 30 better than me.
I've seen it.
I haven't.
But Sonny was smart because he got to know the players when they were younger, not just in high school. Like there was a joke in the documentary where it said he knew the best 6th grade basketball player. That's how in tune he was with basketball, knowing that these kids wanted to come up and make something of themselves. Because for most of these kids, you either, what's the old adage? You either sell drugs or you can throw a ball or catch a ball or something like that.
So he was very. They would knock him because they said like, oh, he influences where the kids go to school because of like his shoes. But it's like he never told a kid like, hey, you should go to North Carolina because you're gonna get so and so like gear from Adidas. or you're gonna get this gear from Nike. Like he never told the kids that. Like he would just give them shoes. And
Yeah.
at one point, the guy who plays the guy who Marlon Wayans played asked him to get a kid to go to the school that he was at.
Two
And he
brothers.
told him, I can't do that. I've never done that. And you're asking me to do something that people have already said that I've been doing.
Mhm.
And to this day, I don't think they're friends.
So just because of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Well,
never forgave him for that. He
looked
never
at
forgave Sonny for that.
he looked as a personal betrayal. So much so that when not athletes, when coaches and big sponsors were like, Sonny's the devil, he's recruiting these kids or whatever, he helped to spearhead it. He actually joined Nike, I believe, after Sonny left as like a backstabbing move to try and like help them
Yeah.
recruit more college players or more college to NBA players. So yeah, and also that big push of like you shouldn't pay college athletes. George was big part of that too. And it's crazy because in the documentary, they're interviewing all these coaches and they're all like, no, playing these players is a bad thing. But then they immediately come out and say back, like, well, yeah, we're getting paid because we're the coaches. We should get paid, And then you see their salaries of like $1 million, 1.2 million, 1.5 million, NCAA raking in, I think, $1 billion for March Madness in 2011. But the athletes, fuck them and let them starve, right? We're got off topic.
Which 30 for 30 is this? Because I'm looking at
Soul Man.
Soul Man. Okay, I'll check it out.
SOLE though.
Yeah, I think it's on season 2.
Okay.
I found it on YouTube
'Cause-
for $1.
Oh, if you have
'cause-
Hulu, it's on there.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't find a bunch of the 30 for 30s on Hulu.
They're in yeah, because I'm watching it right now. I don't see that one specific. I see a ton, but I don't see that one.
I'm not sure if it's spelled SOLE or SOUL.
No, SOLE. That's how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Soul Man.
But
Like Soul
yeah, I
Food.
typed in Soul Man under Hulu and it didn't pop up. I had to go to 30 for 30 and look through the season 2.
All right, I'll just look it up.
So,
All right.
So anyway, during this movie, Matt Damon's character Sonny has an epiphany. He wants to go only after Michael, essentially a suicide mission, given the bigger competition and the lack of support from management. But he proceeds, and we get this great scene, I think, with Matt Damon, Sonny, and Viola Davis as Dolores Jordan. Which I don't know about you, that's my favorite scene in the movie.
Oh,
Mhm.
when he goes to have lunch with her, like when she's in the car. I love that scene when he shows up there and the husband is just working on this car, and she kind of tells Sonny like, okay, let's talk in the back, and Michael Jordan's dad just goes like, okay, holla if you need anything, and she just goes like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like it's so clear who's in control there, and that man's knew his place. Like it was a good scene. Viola Davis has like no end of good scenes in this movie, which works out specifically because I know this is like a very well-known fact, but Ben Affleck met up with Michael Jordan before they started doing the movie, and he goes like, okay, this is the plan, this is the screenplay, we want to get your blessing on it, and if you have any comments or anything, so we can work on it. And Jordan specifically said like, all right, I really want the Marlon Wayans character, he said he needs to be like a part of the story because he was like instrumental in the whole process. Chris Tucker's character, I forgot his name, Howard White, he said he was a personal friend of my family for like a long time. After that, he needs to like if he's there, his role needs to be enlarged. Like he needs to be there further. He's requested to like not have, if he's gonna be in the movie, he said I really don't want it to be like the main thing, like everything else needs to be important. And he said, and last but not least, Viola Davis needs to play my mom. Like that's like my only like not demand, but like please make it happen. And they did, which I think it was a great choice because she kind of murders every character that she plays. She's great. Fernie will come in and be like, fences sucked in a second, but
Wait, what?
Then I said Viola Davis. Then I said Viola Davis is great, and I said Fernie's going to come in a second and be like, "Well, fences sucked," and then we'll continue from there.
She's a good character. The movie itself, I just think, is stupid.
Question. Well, I don't know. There's something that I liked about this. Not a question, just something to say. I love the fact that even though Michael Jordan is a globally, at the time, granted, not globally recognized, but he was a world-class athlete, one of the top draft picks to go to this major sports franchise. He's being offered hundreds of thousands of dollars, soon to be millions of dollars, his own shoe line, his own shoe brand, at least endorsement. And yet still his mama tells him to do something and he fucking does it. I love that.
That's how it be sometimes.
I don't know. There's something I like about that. Like, Ma, I won an NCAA championship. I don't care. You're going to that meeting or else.
Yeah. I mean, my mom would do the same. Like, it's not.
I assume. Yeah. I assume in front of your mom would do the same, and you'd listen.
Yeah.
But
Mom, what are you talking about? Adidas offering me $1.5 million. You're fucking stupid.
And they gave me the red Mercedes.
But one of the things that they do get right is that I'm pretty sure it was the mom. The mom wanted not stock options, a revenue percentage.
Yeah.
Smart. Yeah.
Very smart. Yeah.
And fun fact, Michael Jordan passed that on to Charles Barkley when Charles Barkley signed with Nike.
Like his own?
His own
percentage?
Because he told him, like, hey, man, you're making like $3 million. Tell him to give you half that and the other half in revenue percentage.
I didn't know Charles Barkley had a shoe line. So
yeah, back then he did with Nike. He still makes money from Nike to this day.
Oh man, he had the ones that the Velcro ones. Oh my god! I think I actually had a pair of Charles Barkley's. That had shoes very similar. Wow. Actually,
but yeah, like he passed that on to Charles Barkley, and Charles Barkley ended up making a fucking killing from it too.
These got polka dots in them. Shit.
Hey, you got to differentiate somehow. It's funny.
They look like the kind of shoes you would wear at like one of those like trampoline places. Like,
oh fuck, you're right.
I mean, they look cool, but I don't know. They feel like very like Spy Kids, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. They also include a true fact also that Nike, there were those rules as far as shoes are concerned. There are still some rules in the NBA as far as shoes are concerned.
I want to say that's where they got it wrong, though, because if I'm correct, weren't the first version of Jordan 1s more black and red instead of white, black and red?
No, those are the first versions.
There was some white on them. See, it's weird because when I look up Air Jordan 1s, two designs come up. And you're right. It's the all black and red, and then the black, white, and red.
I think he had them for like away games and shit.
No, I want to say the black ones were just outright banned. And then the other ones he had to pay a fine for.
Well, Nike paid that fine. That's actually a true fact.
Yeah. Oh, you just reminded me of something. I love that scene when they're explaining that, oh yeah, there's gonna be a fine, but we're gonna cover it. And I like how Ben Affleck, who we haven't mentioned, but he plays Phil Knight, and he just goes like, "What are we doing?" Like, which we have to talk about this. I think Phil Knight is one of the most interesting like businessmen like ever. Like I read a good chunk of his book. It's called Shoe Dog, and I think he's like a very interesting fellow. And so he's played in the movie by Ben Affleck, which I knew Ben Affleck was going to be in the movie. I didn't know he was going to play Phil Knight. And he plays him as this, like, a very philosophical, very methodical, like, he has an answer for everything.
He
like,
plays him as a hippie.
He plays him as a hippie, yeah, which he was like that. But when I don't know, maybe because I was reading it from his perspective, but now I seeing that from the perspective of others, yeah, he looked kind of dorky in like a funny way. Like, I think he was a good leader and stuff, but it's just funny how like he comes off almost as the the comedic character or the comedic performance. But yeah, no, that's how Phil Knight just was. It was pretty funny. Not gonna lie, pretty good. I really like Ben Affleck in this movie. Like he was. There's a scene where he goes running at night, and he's wearing like this like jacket and leg warmers and like super like a thick jacket but very thin like thighs. And then he comes walking in, and he's built like Gru from Despicable Me, like big chest, really thin legs. And I don't know, he looked kind of fun. Maybe it was the 80s look or something, but really fun, really fun performance from Affleck. Not as bomb as Phantoms, but still a pretty good performance.
And from there we get this really smart, like for instance, negotiation from
Damon?
Michael's mother as far as like stock options or whatnot. Oh, another great scene was when they were planning how the meeting was gonna go, and I could imagine that, like they were that precise to the detail as far as what to talk about, how to talk about, and all this other stuff. That's real. Like I believe that 100%.
I really like how we got those scenes, and I really like the scene where Sonny's telling Dolores how you're gonna go to the Adidas meeting. This is what they're gonna say. Did you gotta go to the conference meeting? This is what they're gonna say. Like he predicts what's gonna happen, and he tells her directly like it's not gonna work because they have their priorities wrong, and we are only gonna prioritize like your son and nothing else. Like that's gonna be the main focus.
I will give the movie this. They are correct in that. I mean, at the time, Nike was the first of its kind that did that personalized the shoe for the athlete, as opposed to just being like, this athlete wears our stuff.
Yeah. Which you gotta admit, it's a gamble. And the movie really makes you feel like it's a gamble because everyone in the world is telling him, like, don't do this. Like, it's a bad idea, And it will go bad, and we're already putting ourselves at risk. Like, I like how the movie just kept pushing that narrative because it made me root for Damon, which is weird because like I know what the story is, I know what's gonna happen, and I felt nervous when they were going into that meeting. Like even how they kept like teasing the shoe, like they kept teasing it over and over. I know what it looks like, and I was excited to see what it looked like. It was fun. Like it was a great reveal when it finally happens.
No, and then the guy that does like the design for the shoe, he's ultimately the one that did the Jumpman symbol.
Oh yeah, too. Yeah, I like how they were able to like include that. They had like this ongoing thing where like they don't know if he created the name or if the agent created the name, like the Air Jordan name. Did they ever decided on who named it first or not?
I don't think they ever mention it past the part where like the agent's like, and you're welcome for giving you the name. He's like, what? We developed the name Air Jordan.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't think they ever like discussed it past that. I mean, just the crazy part is like knowing, like watching the movie and then like thinking like, oh man, Sonny Vaccaro must have stayed at Nike forever. And then come to find out, he gets fired in 91, and they don't. He says like they don't really even give him a reason why. He just equates it to being like he felt like he was the gunman that was hired in the Wild Wild West to knock out all the bad guys, and then when he was done with that, they didn't need him anymore.
It's a business,
and then he goes on to work for Adidas.
Oh, that's gross.
But he lost Kobe Bryant, right? That's the one that he lost.
Well, yeah, after he left.
Oh, I want to see that movie.
Yeah, he stole Kobe Bryant from Nike. He stole Tracy McGrady from Nike.
But wasn't he on the verge of signing Kobe to Adidas? Oh no, it was LeBron that broke him. He was on the verge of signing LeBron to Adidas.
But they wouldn't agree to the money.
Even though he even said himself like they could have, and from the numbers that they present in the documentary, like, yeah, dude, like get LeBron James, but they didn't, and fucking cost him.
Yeah, and I mean, he he leaves Adidas after that. I think he worked for Reebok for a little bit. Um, but yeah, I mean the Adidas one, the fact like he got Kobe Bryant from Nike before Kobe Bryant ultimately went to Nike is just insane.
No. But yeah, so this movie it ends with them. Matt Damon's character has an epiphany, has just a moment of like he's gonna get everyone in this room fired, like because he failed. He thought he failed.
Yeah.
He ends up getting Jordan. They need the stock options. Ben Affleck kind of ends on slightly a funny note, where he's like, "We're setting a dangerous precedent for the players to get a larger percentage of the revenue, but fine, whatever." Um, and then he says to himself, "What's the most it'll be? Like 3 million a year? Like he's not gonna get that much money off us." Flash forward, his first year, they made $162 million.
Oh yeah.
And counting. I
Oh, and
know.
those first
I
Jordan
helped.
shoes apparently sucked dick.
What do you
Like when
mean?
it came to playing basketball on them.
He
Really?
meant I saw did you'll see the Last Dance on
Yeah, he
Netflix?
played
Yeah.
like it was like not an anniversary game, but it was like a big game for him where like he broke a record and he's like, I'm gonna do it in Jordan ones. And like his feet were bleeding.
It was the game when he returned after he left to play baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and he was bleeding and he outright said like I
These
don't
fucking
know
shoes
how.
suck.
No, he said like I don't know how I used to do this, like with this. I don't know. But then they evolved, they became eventually more comfortable. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never played basketball wearing Jordans, but then again, I don't know. When I was a kid and I first saw Rocky, like the first Rocky, and I remember I saw Rocky like training in Converse, and I went, I've worn Converse. Converse are not comfortable to like
Are you insane?
exercise shit. They don't seem like to play basketball and to run like Converse. Really, like Converse are comfy, but
Let's go
especially
for a
like the
jog.
in Converse, hell no, no, does not look comfortable at all. I mean, I have a friend who she lifts weights like professionally. I forgot the name of it, but she like lifts weights, and she said like Converse are like the best shoes to like lift weights because like
Oh
they,
yeah.
they 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 really keep you stable. And I
Yeah,
said,
they
well,
have
that
a
makes
flat
sense.
sole. They keep you close to
Yeah.
the ground. Like they're really good for that. That and
Yeah,
Vans.
yeah, that makes sense. But to play basketball, I don't. It does not look comfortable at all. And I've worn
Fuck
my share
no.
of Converse, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
What's called?
Maybe because maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't exercise enough. But yeah, no.
I,
This. What else? Yeah,
no, I was gonna say I remember Rocky in Converse shoes, and they're not normal
yeah.
Converse from what I'm seeing. Actually, these are not regular Converse that they
They're
used.
they're also 70s, weren't they?
Look, no, but like for basketball, like they're not the basic flat top Converse
Oh
that
no,
I'm
they're
thinking of.
the one with the star and it kind of looks like an arrow on it.
Yeah, so I mean, those make sense as basketball shoes. I could see that. I could imagine
No, but
that.
before that they would use the Converse All Star
Yeah.
as basketball shoes.
Fuck that.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that they're high tops, and maybe that I don't
Helps.
know. No, I don't think it helps. Like I think that's like the part that makes it uncomfortable. But I don't know. I don't know enough. Um, but no, like when they finally show off the Air Jordan, like and like he holds it and stuff, and they show off. It's like that's perfect. Like it's a good reveal. This movie is basically Moneyball, but for sneakerheads, which is it's a good get. It's a good thing. I liked it.
See, it's funny because I've
Um,
said that like multiple times. Like this feels like Moneyball, but for sneakers.
yeah, which is
No, you
great. I think
didn't. You didn't say that, Eddie.
When we were
Fucking
talking
liar.
sports, I said that twice.
You didn't
not
say
in
this
this
was the
review.
Moneyball for sneakerheads. You just said this was like Moneyball. Fucking
Fine, I
liar.
said it was Moneyball for sneakerheads in the video review that I'm going to post tomorrow. Hopefully, maybe we'll see.
All right, fine. I'll leave a comment saying like, hey, I pitched that. That's my idea.
Good. Maybe our interaction will get even better now. Finally.
Great. What else? What else is good about this movie? Crocs movie. When?
Just the pacing. The pacing of this movie is really good.
How long is this? Like an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Just about.
Just
About an
about.
hour 10?
Doesn't feel long at all. Yeah.
An
No.
hour 40. But yeah.
We
This
haven't
movie,
talked up. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this movie feels like a streaming movie though. It felt weird like that it was in the theater.
I
This
like
was-
watching it in theater, honestly. Like it
But-
was
Hey man, shout out to Amazon Prime for fucking funding those early 2000s like not very expensive movies.
yeah, like a medium budget movies. Bring them back. They're fun.
Like they're taking the place of what Miramax used to do.
Yeah.
what other
'cause-
movies have they done?
I mean,
They
it's
did
pretty much every Amazon Prime movie.
they did Paddington, which I really like. No, not Paddington, sorry, Patterson. Patterson I really liked. What's another one? The Big Sick. What's another one that they did?
My Best Friend's Exorcism.
I haven't seen that one. What
Yeah,
did I?
it's all right.
What's another one?
My best
Um,
friend's exorcism?
Yeah.
It has to be a comedy, right?
Yeah.
I thought you were
That-
done with exorcism movies.
This one's a comedy.
Okay.
It actually
Uh,
looks pretty good. I actually kind of want to see it now.
Sound of Metal was also a good one that ended up at the Oscars.
Isn't that the one where the dude's going deaf and he plays drums?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I
it's
remember
good.
that one.
They did Manchester at the Sea, which also won a bunch of Oscars. I think.
I forgot that was an Amazon movie.
Yeah, it feels well. That they did The Boys, which is I have not seen. I have not seen The Boys.
The Boys is
Um,
pretty fucking good. I'll go to bat for that one.
And this is the Suspiria remake sequel thingy, which I really liked.
They did Shotgun Wedding, which looked like shit.
No, yeah, it does look like shit, but it feels like a medium budgeted sized shit. Like it doesn't feel like super intense with it. We haven't talked about Jason Bateman, who plays what's his name? Rob Strasser, who also works at Nike and is helping Damon during the conquest. He's a good foil for Damon because he's kind of like telling him what not to do and what to do. And he has a really like intense emotional scene where he goes like, I am here when I should be on like the one day that I get with my daughter and I'm going at bat with you. Please remember that, we're all here, that your actions are affecting all of us. And I feel like that's because like throughout the whole movie, I'm like, come on, listen to Damon. He knows what he's talking about. But then in that scene, it hit me that like, oh, this is a business. And like people's jobs are at stake here. And then it lands it perfectly with him just turning around and being like, oh, by the way, happy birthday, Rob. Like it's also his birthday. And he's working there. What an asshole.
Oh man, I'd be
And,
pissed. I've never worked on my birthday a day in my life. I'd be
You've
fucking
never
weird.
worked on your birthday day of your life?
Nope.
Fuck
Straight up, if you schedule me, I'm sick. I'm gonna have a stomach virus and I will bring a fucking doctor's note.
Damn.
Jeez, what a pussy. What a
No.
Gen Zer over here.
Fuck
Doesn't
you.
want to work. Fucking lazy liberal over here, am I right?
Fuck you. But yeah, okay. So what else? Anything else? Final thoughts of this movie? What do y'all think?
It's
I just-
good. So far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that it's one of those medium budgeted movies that we used to see. And it's just a good movie.
Here's the best compliment that I can give this movie. I've seen how many movies I've seen this year. Let me pull up my letterbox. Sorry. I've seen 19, 20, 23 releases of the year so far. This is probably the only one that I see myself rewatching more than once. Which based on how many movies I watch a year is the biggest compliment that I can give it. Because like this is to me like Social Network or like other movies that I can have playing in the background where I'm doing other stuff because I just like hearing the dialogue. Like I see myself rewatching this over like John Wick or I don't know, Renfield or Knock at the Cabin. Like I see myself rewatching this more often, even on like the years past, because I rarely rewatch movies at this point. I mostly just watch new ones. But this one, no, I feel like this is gonna stay in the rotation. So I like the dialogue and I like that it feels bite-sized. Like I feel like even if I can't watch it in one sitting, I can like split it up and watch it later, and I won't feel bad. Maybe I am turning into a dad. Like that's a very like I watched like half of it. I watched the rest later. Yeah.
I think the best way to describe it, it's a good cable movie. Like it's one of those movies that could be on cable where like you could jump in at any point and you're like, oh, it's this part.
Yeah. Like if you got off work and you got home and you like turn on the TV and this was playing, you'd be like, ah, nice. Just like lie down on your lazy boy and just like sip on a slushy.
Yeah, I agree. This movie's B- for me. It's not incredible, but it's not bad by any stretch. I just don't know if and when I'm ever going to watch it again. It's not bad, not by any stretch.
Yeah, I had fun with it. I gave it 4 out of 5. I think it was really, really good, and for what it tried to do, I think it's good. It's a good. It's clearly not a Michael Jordan biopic or a documentary. It's about the shoe. It's kind of like how they did. I like that. I like how it takes a focus on that. It's like they're making this movie called the Midas Man, and it's going to be about the guy who discovered the Beatles. And I like that it's a movie about that guy, the guy that found the Beatles.
Piece of shit.
No, not that him. The other guy. Yeah. You hate the beat. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't like the Beatles.
That's like
they're a wee bit overrated.
I'm just not a fan of their music.
Nobody's saying they're overrated, but
if I had to choose a 70s band, I would choose the Who over the Beatles.
Oof. I think the Who are overrated, but yeah.
Keith Moon, don't get fooled again, buddy. These hands are meant for something else.
Idiot. Yeah, Teenage Wasteland over here.
Bob O'Reilly the shit out of you.
Can you name a The Who song that was not an intro for CSI?
Oh, I forgot it was on the intro for CSI Miami.
all CSI openings are Who songs.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hey, talk about a consistent income. No one wants to fucking hear Beatles songs.
The Beatles are like the most highest grossing like band in history. What are you talking about?
You know what? I might not like Michael Jackson. Shout out to him for buying the Beatles catalog out of spite.
That was out of spite. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he bought their catalog out of spite.
Yeah.
And they were okay with selling to him?
They were so young and high. They would say okay to
I
anything.
don't think they had a say in it. I think he bought it from the record company.
No, fuck them.
So he gets money from all of their plays, not them?
Yeah.
Not exactly. I think
it's there a revenue split or
the
what?
rights to their music.
I think it's the publishing right. So like if they show up in a movie or something.
It's like the Taylor Swift debacle.
Oh, okay.
Where Taylor Swift lost the rights to all of her early music because she didn't buy them.
They never let her buy them, I
thought they did let her. Or I thought they like told her like, "Hey, we're going to sell it. You have the option to buy it." And then she was like, "No."
No, watch the documentary. It's called Mistress America. It's on Netflix. And she goes like, ever since I was like 19, I've been trying to buy them. They would not let me. And yeah, it wasn't until like she split and she went to a different label where they
remade her early albums.
After she started recording Reputation, like from Reputation on ahead, she owns all of them. And then they presented her with the idea like, hey, you could re-record them. Like it's a gamble because you're asking your audience to like rebuy something they already own. Like they could be like, why the fuck would we do that? We already own them, but fucking worked. I mean,
I remember she was also like a huge like she hated Spotify when it first came out.
Yeah, because it wouldn't go to her; it would go to fucking
the record company.
Yeah.
So she was like, "Why the fuck am I gonna let my music stream when I don't make goddamn shit off of it?"
Yeah.
I remember that happened once actually, where like I was at the beginning of Spotify, like she was protesting her music, or she had her music pulled from Spotify completely.
Yeah, that was in the very beginning.
It straight up wasn't there. Yeah. God, that's gonna be one hell of a biopic. God, can you imagine like 20, 30 years when we get like the Taylor Swift miniseries, like with like oh God, that's gonna be fun. Anyway, no, coming back to Air, I loved Air. I think it's like my 5th or 4th favorite movie of the year. I freaking adored it. I thought it was super fun.
Solid B.
And yeah, super see myself watching it again. So glad Affleck did this instead of Batman. What else? What else?
Mm,
All right.
I hope that this is a good direction in those movies that we used to see, the 10 to 12 million budget movies where like we could like where they were just there. So I hope like with the surgence of Amazon as a funding capital for these type of movies, I hope we get to see them more often. Because I mean, it just kind of feels like there's no types of these movies anymore. It's just like blockbuster, blockbuster, blockbuster in the theaters.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's gonna suck because Amazon is not going to. They're gonna try to do like another fucking another Rings of Power or another. What's that new spy show that they just did?
Jack Reacher,
No, the new one.
the one with
Chris Evans?
Jim from The Office.
No, the other. No, that's Jack Reacher.
No,
the other
that's Jack
one.
Ryan.
Jesus Christ, they made them. There's 2 of them. No, Citadel. It's called, so it's a new Amazon show. It's about these 2 spies. That show has a bigger budget than Avatar: Way of Water, and
What's it called?
it's called Citadel.
Citadel.
Yeah,
Saw a
and
commercial for it in the theaters.
yeah, it looks like ass, and no one is talking about it. But Amazon sank so much money into it, and I don't want that. I want this. I want movies like this. I don't want that.
Dude,
and
it's only 4 episodes.
yeah, those 4 episodes have a bigger budget than Avatar: Way of Water, and it doesn't show.
I'm sorry, 6 episodes. Still.
Yeah. Yeah. Sucks.
Wow.
Very sad. Very sad.
That's a 54% on Rotten Tomato. Although, to be fair, 1, fuck Rotten Tomato. 2, I mean, you got to take some shots. You're missing 100% of the shots you're going to take. Did they copy the Tenet poster? I think they did.
Yeah, it looks very similar.
Like, they didn't even try to fucking hide it. Look at this. Jesus,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm going to share my goddamn screen for a second here. Look. Wait, can you...
And that's your dick.
No. Can you see my screen or no?
I see your email. You have an unopened email
I
from
see a
Dr. on
TikTok
Demand.
notification. Please stop messaging me, you psycho.
No,
You're
about Tenet?
behind on your AT&T bill.
Citadel.
We're looking at your email. Stop showing us your email.
What the fuck?
There
Why
it
is
is.
it not
we
showing
go.
this?
There it is. Now we see it.
Oh, that
Yeah.
piece.
There we
Stop
are.
the recording. Okay.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's copied. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, but coming back to this movie, yeah, this has been a good year for mid-budgeted movies between Air and Evil Dead Rise and Megan, and Renfield. Like, I feel like those movies have like kind of showed up and been like, we're just like, you're not here for a long time, here for a good time. And thank you. Please, yes, more of those. Yeah, what else?
I got nothing else to say.
I got nothing else. That's it for me.
All right. We're gonna finish this episode, but before I do, I have to let you know, Microsoft just shared this thing. They said, in honor of Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we're giving away this never on open Microsoft soon. We have no idea if it works. Like and retweet for a chance to win. So if you want an unopened Zune of 8 gigabytes they don't even know if it works or not.
God.
Go to Microsoft's Twitter page. It's right there.
I'll make it work is one of the top comments.
I hate that the Zune didn't last.
It was a very whatever device. It was never gonna be better than the iPod.
Hey man, shut
I-
the fuck up. I bought that shit.
I remember that was a
What-
pride of joy for a while.
I liked
where
it.
is it now?
Because you could fucking put videos on it.
You could put videos on iPods too.
I think this was right before the iPod video came out, but I think it was cheaper than the iPod video.
I think it was cheaper, yeah, but yeah.
So I was like, fuck yeah. Oh, you could get one for the cool price of $699 on Amazon.
God no. Well, Chema, you want to hit the outro?
Thank you for joining us. We have episodes showing up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. There's also video reviews on the YouTube page. We'll be back next week with what's coming out. Fast X?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Do we
that
have to
garbage.
do Fast X?
Yes.
I think no one's on board with it. I think we can skip one a year.
No, we have
Eddie, you can go
Please.
fucking watch it. I'm not gonna fucking go spend money to watch it.
Jesus.
God damn it.
You saw that it's gonna be three. It's gonna be 10 part 1, 10 part 2, and 10 part 3. You all saw that shit.
It's already 20. It's already been. Fast and Furious has been in fucking almost 3 decades. The 2000s, the 2010s, and now the 2020s.
They should have stopped at the same time that they let it go of Paul Walker. Like that was the time to just stop.
Yeah,
Bow out on a high note.
I thought Fast
I'm
5 was the
just-
peak.
Um.
How about this? How
what?
about next week, instead of, if you don't want to review Fast 6 and Fast 10, if we're serious about not reviewing it, what if we discuss the franchise as a whole and our favorite parts and the shittiest parts?
right.
A Fast?
Yeah, is that a fair compromise?
I think it's a good compromise. Yeah,
Yeah.
What do you
because
think?
I personally don't think 10 is gonna have the best moment of the franchise.
All right, I'll watch 10 and I'll let you know if it was any good.
Clearly, the best moment of the franchise is when The Rock tells Tyrese to hide that big ass
Baby
forehead.
oil.
That's the best scene. Like, you better have that baby oil. You better have that big ass forehead.
And Ludacris just spits.
Yeah, it's best thing The Rock has ever been a part of. Anyway,
Like and subscribe.
Bernie, do your thing.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for our review of Air. Please like and subscribe. You can find us wherever you get your podcast needs. Google, Spotify, Apple, you know the places. We're there. If you want to please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Eddie runs those, so if you see anything you don't like, it's all Eddie's fault. And if you want to complain to him, you could definitely find him on there. I'll even give you his address. So,
I'll kill you.
this was our review of Air. I'm Fernie.
I'm Chema.
I've been Eddie.
And let's cut it.